Welcome back. We've been working hard at our business plan for the last few months.
Yeah, and I think we have it to a point where we can start to share some of the exciting details with you.
Before we start talking about the business plan, we just want to give a big shout out to young agrarians and especially to the organizers of the business bootcamp.
Yes.
Yeah, so we took this 11-week course and it's been amazing. It was a great resource.
It was actually the only reason it was what got us going on the business our business plan. So we had tried over a year ago just to get going, but it's so overwhelming when you start getting into it. So if it wasn't for the young agrarians and their amazing business bootcamp program, we would not have been able to go through it. So yeah.
During the 11-week program, they split all the topics up, and they had a great set of speakers. And it was a great community. We had 30 some other farmers in the class, and it was great to hear from people from doing different type of farming ventures
and different range of experiences. So some were experienced farmers, and some haven't even started yet. They just have an idea and a dream that they want, and some like us, we've had some experience, but starting something new, and just a whole range of experiences and ideas, and it was amazing.
Yes,
I would actually take it again. I would love to take it again, but
I think we got what we wanted out of it. I would love to see more courses, but if you are a new farmer and you want to get started, you don't know how to start, how to form your business plan, or your ideas are just it's hard to get your ideas into a tangible form to start your business. This is a great step. It was well worth it. And the next one I think is happening in the fall. So if you just search for Business Bootcamp Young Agrarians, you'll find their page. And we will highly recommend it.
Yes.
Alex Polbulki, our coordinator, she did an amazing job of just conducting all the sessions, and everything just flew so well. It was so valuable.
It's sad. I don't know what we're gonna do this Thursday. It's sad that last week was our last one.
Yeah. So. We were always looking forward to the sessions. And they had a huge set of resources ahead of time. So they would send out the resources ahead of time. So it would give us some things to study during the week. So when we show up to the class, we were already prepared about the discussions and the topics that were coming up, and it made it really, really valuable, especially on some of those harder topics to understand.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I took away from the business boot camp was don't go big and the best right away. So, and I thought, my idea, I want that huge passive solar greenhouse, so we have, might as well get the best, the biggest, and start off right. But, the message that I took away from a bunch of the speakers and stuff is start at the scale that you're prepared to work at. So it doesn't have to be the biggest and the best, but like with a greenhouse, start smaller. It's something that you can afford, you can manage, and you can get up and going right away. Whereas if you want that huge passive solar greenhouse, that's going to take a lot of money, a lot of time, and you don't even know if you can manage that scale of production. So that was one thing I took away, and just kind of work with what you can do. Don't overwhelm yourself like we learned before. You'll burn out. So just start small and work your way up as time goes. Just leaving some room so you're able to pivot and adapt, because there's going to be challenges. That's it. And then that's it. You're just because you have your business plan, just because things are written out a certain way, doesn't mean it's going to go that way. We've learned that a lot in farming. Just because you have a plan does not mean that's how it's going to go. Actually, probably 99% of the time, it's not going to go that way. So yes, you have to be adaptable, flexible, and go with the flow. That's what farming is,
For me, the biggest thing I took out of the course was it changed my whole perspective about what the business plan was, and how easy it was to write one. Before, we tried several times using different templates, and some of those online templates, they do a really good job of overwhelming you.
Very good.
I didn't realize, but some of these templates are designed for a specific purpose. So, for example, there are templates built by financial organizations, and they have 100 different criteria on how they want to evaluate you. So the template can be quite extensive, and a few times we tried to go through those, and it was just really
did not. They
Yeah.
also weren't geared toward the farmer, toward a farmer.
Exactly.
You know,
it was just a general.
the small scale farmer.
Yeah. But what we realized is that there are certain points and that we highlight during the course. They highlighted really well during the course, and you just need to hit those points. And really, how your business plan flows, it depends on who your audience is. So for us, we're not trying to impress some venture capitalists. We are trying to attract community. So our business plan is geared toward explaining our mission and vision and how we conduct our how we're going to conduct our business, and everything should be transparent and open. So all of those things can be laid out in a really understandable language. It doesn't have to be some fancy, based on some fancy template. It doesn't have to check a whole bunch of things. So that made it a lot easier to approach. So we just started writing documents. So that once we got that, then it started to flow itself, and it flowed really well.
So I mean, and also the business bootcamp they have the templates. They have amazing templates that really they guide you through, and videos that go with the templates, and that can guide you through. Guide you through it step by tiny little steps. So it's not as overwhelming. You can watch the first step, pause it, do what you need to do on your own, and then play it. And it was incredible. And just again, the templates that are geared for farmers, for small scale farming. So that just it made it more enjoyable to do, having it more geared toward farming. So, and
just hearing from all these different farmers, there were several of the speakers also doing farming operations specifically on leased land. So that was really nice to hear for us. Just some of the tips on how to think about that.
A lot of the speakers also, they started from scratch. They started from like a blank slate. They didn't start with the family business. They didn't just go with that, but they started from scratch, and to see how far they had come and the lessons they learned really was encouraging. It was very encouraging to know that we can do it. It's not, there's hard, and they talk about their hard times, the times where, the ends weren't meeting and something was not right. Well, they had to reevaluate their business plan and change gears and change direction and try again. So it's encouraging to hear that. It's not always going to go perfectly.
And just the community building aspect of it. We are so looking forward to talking, more and staying in touch with the people that we took the course with, and some of the speakers that we connected with.
Following their journeys. I'm excited to follow everyone's journeys.
Just having that community. When we just started getting into farming, it seemed really intimidating to try to have a community for various reasons. But it was like, in some young Canadians created space that it felt really welcoming for us, and we felt like we were an outsider. We were just part of the farming community right away from the beginning, and they really were open and sharing, and so we just love the spirit and the work that they do. So can't speak.
No, I know we could talk forever about younger.
Well, anyways, this video we want to get into the actual business plan and share some of the details with you. So let's
dive into it.
Let's dive right in. So the business plan starts with our vision statement. What kind of world do we want to live in future?
So I mean, we want to live in a community where we're self-sufficient and we can provide for ourselves.
Just very much how the Ducobors were living. But we are planning for a future village in a way that we can support ourselves, live peacefully off the land. And then
harmony with nature.
Exactly. In harmony with nature. We want to be creating abundance, and our plan of building a diversified orchard helps us to get a little bit closer to that vision. But what's important to realize, and what we realized during the course, is that the vision statement for a business is not something that the business alone needs to achieve or even can achieve. Like our vision, it depends on other people sharing that same vision. We cannot alone create a community, right? So we have to rely on other people to join in, but we can take a step in the same direction and hope that other people will share that vision, and then we connect with them, and hopefully we can work toward, getting to the life that we want to get to. And then the next step in the business plan is our mission statement. So the mission is a little bit more practical. It's like, what is our business doing? What is it trying to achieve? Right? So the vision is kind of the guiding direction, but the mission is very specific, right? So we get a little bit more details in the mission statement. What kind of things do we do as a business?
So planting that diversified heritage orchard that will bring us closer to being self-sufficient.
Yeah, and just preserving those heritage varieties, creating abundance through creating a biodiverse ecosystem. All of those are specific things, and the way we are doing things, like that's part of our mission. Is like we want to grow things without using pesticides, herbicide, fungicide. We want to work with nature without always trying to destroy.
Exactly.
So instead, we want to work with biology and create a system that's abundant. So
choosing the plants and trees and stuff that you don't have to baby and don't require all the input.
And there is a lot of research and knowledge that's available right now, and I mean there's a lot more that we need to discover, but there's a lot of foundation for us to build such system. It's not something that we just decide, oh, we're going to try this out of nowhere. There's a lot of research and information available. So it's just the direction that we've chosen, and we specifically want to make that clear in our mission statement, so that's what our business is focusing on. The next section of the business plan is about the land and its history. So it's very important, especially for agricultural ventures, to really think about where the land, or the history of the land that your operation is on, and do some research and figure out how your business fits in the context of that land and relates to how it has been used historically. So we did a lot of research on this since we came here. We've been digging into the history of this particular land.
Definitely.
So there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see our project as a continuation of what the Doukhobors started here 100 years ago. The communal village and living off the land. So
The next section of the business plan is farm description. So in this part of the plan, we got into a lot of details about how the farm is laid out, what are the different operations on the farm located, where are the different operations on the farm located.
This is where we bring in our map too. Yeah, we can show what goes where and what we're planning on having where, and road access and trails, things like that.
Definitely want to cover access, where the water intake. For us, the direction or the roads where the trees are being planted, where there's going to be, we're practicing double cropping, so where we're going to put the annual crops, for example, or perennial double cropping as well.
So this section really gets you thinking about how things are laid out, and with the nursery and the orchard, we took into account the way the sun goes, the direction of wind, and all that we add to the map. And our map takes into account topography, because that's important for where the snow leaves first, and what gets more sun, things like that. So it was.
And it was really good that we had a chance to observe the land, and this helped us a lot in deciding some of those details in there. So
that was one of the biggest things. We really wanted to watch the land for at least a year, so that we knew already the best, the more ideal places to have things. So
the next section is value proposition. It's very important for a business to know what value they're providing to their customers, and so that could be specific products that you bring in, or also how you actually grow the product. So we know that many people are more and more concerned about how their food is being grown, and for us that's one of the core values of our business.
Definitely. We want to be working with nature, so the less impact we have, the better. Not using those herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, nothing like that. Choosing varieties that are already adapted to the area, so you don't have to put as much time and effort into watering and taking care of them, bathing them. So they can handle our winters. We don't have to do all this special stuff to keep them alive. And so some of them will have to, but still, for the most part, that's what we're looking for. Those hardy heritage varieties that have already survived here without anybody bothering them. So
and we see this in almost the opposite direction as where the industrial agriculture is going towards, right? So the industrial ag is focused on production. They plant the same variety for hundreds or thousands of acres, and they will just dump as much as they can put pesticides and herbicides and everything on it, and then they use varieties and they select varieties that are optimized for what they care about, which is selling, and so that's mostly what the fruit looks like, right? So the selection criteria have changed a lot from creating like nutritious food that's can sustain you and and the trees are hardy. Those don't matter anymore. So they're using weaker and weaker rootstock. The trees are getting, if you ever driven by orchards, commercial orchards, you see that the trees are constantly getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
starting to look, cherry trees now starting to look like a little bush. So they're going on those dwarf rootstocks, and they heavily depend on irrigation, and they're very sensitive. And so this is almost the opposite direction of what we have to go towards.
Exactly. Right? Diversify. That's the biggest thing, is just having that diversity.
Diversify, and then also selecting varieties that are hardy, like you mentioned.
Exactly. Not we don't want to go the dwarf route. We want the standard normal trees and shrubs and plants. So we don't want to do that. So
exactly. Which brings us to the next section, which is about the products that we offer. So what we actually offer and what are our main revenue streams. So we're focusing on two main revenue streams, our U-pick operation as well as the nursery.
Yes.
But these two, we started with a whole bunch of ideas and we had to cut down and start.
Can't do everything,
exactly,
right?
because there's so many things we could do, but to have a business, we need to draw a boundary at some point.
Focus.
Yeah, but we selected these two because the two are kind of inseparable.
Yeah.
Because we need the nursery to propagate trees for our heritage orchard, because we cannot buy those. The reason our nursery exists because we cannot go and buy the varieties that we want.
Exactly.
It's very, very difficult. Sometimes for some of the varieties I've traveled 800 kilometers to find like a specific variety of cornelian and cherry, right? I call all the nurseries, you can't find them, right? So we're trying to get those varieties that are really good, really hardy. We want to make them available, and putting them in our U-pick farm fits perfectly with also having them in a nursery business.
Yes, so people can go, what we want ideally is people can come to our food forest and U-pick, they can U-pick anything they want, kind of thing. They get to taste test anything that they haven't tried before. So, they're not committed to just a whole tray of a certain fruit that they haven't tried. They can go and try all the different fruits that we might have. And then if they end up liking something, then we'll offer it in the nursery. They could take it home and grow it themselves. So that's really the dream. That would, it's exciting that way.
Yeah.
Spread the deliciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
And knowledge, right? Everything comes with a story. So all our trees will come with a story, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, and the place we want to make an attractive place for people to come, families to come and enjoy.
It's an experience, right? That's what also we want, the experience, not just you come away with memories, food, and smiles, everything, So, and dirty hands from petting animals, that's always part of it. And picking fruit, of course, dirty hands, but
but that, it's going to, for us to start now and build the whole orchard with that vision in mind, we could create something absolutely beautiful, because now we've decided this is what we want to do. Instead of whether we wait for 5 years, are we going to market it through co-ops, are we going to go commercial route, or how? If you just flip-flop, you never actually make a clear decision. So we decided now, for us to make this happen, the best way to market our fruit is to go through the U-pick route.
And again, our business plan can change. If we have to pivot, we pivot.
Exactly.
But for now, at least we have a focus, and that really helps us kind of.
Again, another example that we could give about this decision that you can make early. So now that we have selected a U-pick model, we started doing some research, and we found a really good idea in some U-pick places that have a diverse set of fruit. They sell everything at the same price. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. Because the main reason most fruit, the price is, there's so many factors in the commercial industry, but for us, the main reason would be the amount of picking. How much work goes into picking something, right? So if we pick 1 pound of raspberries, that's not the same amount of work as picking a pound of apples.
Exactly, right?
So,
completely different.
It's totally different. So, but when you go with U-pick model, then that doesn't matter. So you can sell raspberries and apples at the same price.
And that way people can try, say mulberries, which would normally be more expensive because they're not as available. But if you have everything the same price, then people aren't nervous to pay that extra bit to try something that they might not like, you know? Oh, Canadian cherry. You're like, oh, I haven't heard of that. I don't want to pay $5 a pound or something for that.
I don't know how much.
Know? Yeah, or whatever.
But if we say everything, you know, there was
Same
a flat rate, everything, say, for example, like $1.50 for all the fruit.
Yeah.
Just go nuts and pick whatever your heart desires.
So everyone can experience everything, which is really important. We don't want to limit certain people or anything like that. We want this to be available for everybody. If you can, you know, you don't have to be have a lot of money to be able to try these expensive or these new fruits and vegetables. So, yeah. So the beauty of a diversified food forest is that you can select plants that can ripen over a long period of time. So we've selected over 20 different varieties that will ripen at different times during the growing season. So so anytime you come by and come through the food forest, there'll be something new to pick and eat and sample. So that's really important. So there's a lot more to discuss about the business plan. We're still working our way through certain sections, especially the financial section, you know. But yeah, we'll be working on it pretty hard in the next couple weeks, and hopefully we'll have it up on our website, our new website, once we get that up and going.
Yeah, and our next video is going to be about cooperatives. We're doing a lot of research on cooperatives because we're seriously considering how we could potentially operate our business as a cooperative, but also we're looking at other cooperatives in the area, or possibility of creating a cooperative. So stay tuned. We'll have another video specifically on cooperatives in BC. And for now, like you mentioned, we will continue working on the business plan. But if you have any feedback, please feel free to send us a message.
Definitely.
We would love to hear from you. Oh, but before we go, we should do a quick farm update.
Yeah. So the snow melted rapidly here, and the sheepies are very excited to start seeing grass again. Even when there was just little patches here and there, they already started trying to graze. So everyone's really happy to see that. And the geese have started mating, which is very exciting because that means they'll be laying eggs soon. So we'll be keeping an eye out for nests, which are always hard to find, but I'll be following them around, creeping on them, trying to find out where they're laying their eggs. So that's another very exciting thing, a sure sign of spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dogs are not as exciting as we would have expected. They seem to be like chasing for the last little bit of snow that's left and just hanging on to it. Like, it's funny.
They're one of the only ones that are sad to see the snow go. The dogs, of course.
They just love the cold season, which is funny. Most people think that the dogs need to be indoors during the winter.
Oh my God, they live for snow.
It's their favorite season.
They're seeking out any patch of snow possible. But I love it now because now that everything's brown, I can actually see the dogs out in the field. Before I was like, are the dogs even with the sheep? But because they just blend in with the snow. But so now it's easier to see dogs as well.
It's so exciting to see little plants come up. We have some seeds that are starting to germinate in our seed beds.
Yes.
And also the garlic's starting to poke its head
a little bit
out of the mulch.
That's
so
exciting.
Yeah, very excited about that. So even had to do some weeding last week because when we made the seed beds, we put in just soil from wherever we could. We didn't really have time to get rid of the weeds at that time, or the weed seeds. So I think what I do next time we make one of those seed beds is I will go through and burn, like use a torch to burn before we plant tree seeds, because I spend quite a bit of time pulling all the weeds out to make sure that there is enough room for those tree seeds to come up.
And the songbirds too. The songbirds are coming back. So in the mornings when we get up nice and early, we're starting to hear more of a chorus. So that's always, and at night, of course, the robins. When we go to put the birdies to bed, robins are singing their song. So it's just, and the smells, everything.
Yeah, the sap's flowing, the buds are opening.
Yeah, it's just so exciting. You just, in the winter, it was like, okay, well, I'm outside, it's okay. But now I'm outside all the time and I don't even want to come inside. I was like, no, it's okay, it's still light, I'm good. So
very excited.
Yeah, things are coming to life.
Definitely feeling it. Stay tuned, there will be a lot more. You'll hear from us again soon.
Definitely.
Bye.